Warning, this episode of Professors Abdul and Shania may contain content that some viewers might not be comfortable talking about, such as suicide. However, it's a very informative video and we do hope that you can listen in just to learn more about science, because who wouldn't? It's fun. Thank you for watching.
Hey Johnny, why did the chicken cross the road? Oh, you don't want to answer? It just kind of wanted to die. Yeah. True story. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Christopher, and yeah, that's a really dark joke I just told, but let me try to explain why I did say that just now. Okay? Today we'll be discussing something that many people are not aware about, something that people might be curious about, something that is kind of taboo, but let's discuss it anyway for the heck of it, let's talk about animal suicide. So, you guys know that as humans, we are also considered animals, right? Now, what if I were to tell you that there are other animals that commit suicide? Now, suicide is the intentional causing of one's own death, right? And it also can be considered a public health issue involving psychological, biological, and societal factors. Now, statistics have shown that there has been an increased percentage of suicides from 1999 to 2014, and maybe even higher now. But before it was 24%, and from a population of 100,000, 13 people were predicted to die. Now that's just statistics, but we're not going to discuss the reasons for why humans commit suicide. We're going to talk about why other animals would do it. Is it any different? Is it any better? Like, let's find out, shall we?
Hi, my name is Sophia, and I'm a student that has a question for Professors Abdul and Shania. Recently, I've heard about the phenomenon of animal suicides, and I've been wondering how that really works in the animal kingdom. I know that human suicide is an occurrence that we know more about, but I was wondering if you could explain more about certain animal suicide phenomenons, and I have some examples that you might want to look at. For my examples and questions, we'll be referring to my big book of knowledge to look at some examples of these animal suicides that I found and want to ask you about myself. Our first example has to do with the animals called lemmings. These are animals that live in the tundras of North America and Northern Europe. And as the population of these animals grow, they tend to go in masses towards the coast, even though they live in the mountains. And they often run off of cliffs, they swim until they drown, and they march forward without even dodging obstacles, purposely killing themselves in the process. So what do you think could be the cause of this?
Hello, my name is Dr. A, and alongside me is my longtime partner, Dr. W, and we're both specialists in animal biology, and we're here to talk to you a little bit more about animal suicide behavior. So science has taught us one thing, that animals can suffer from mental health issues in the same way that humans do. They can feel depressed and they can also feel stressed. However, the definition that I'd like to use for today is the one that the Center for Disease Control uses for suicide, so that we can better understand animal suicide behavior. CDC states that when people direct violence at themselves with the intent to end their lives and they die as a result of their actions, that is what suicide is. So animal suicide is a reference to any kind of self-destructive behavior. So we call it suicide in that they kill themselves, but using this CDC definition, it can't be suicide because animals don't make the conscientious effort to kill themselves. Um, in every instance that it appears that an animal kills themselves, there's always a reasonable explanation. For example, when a dog dies after its master's death from not eating because it refuses to get food from somewhere else, it's simply a disruption in the social tie, and the dog doesn't know that if it stops eating that it will no longer be alive. It simply just wants to receive food only from its master. So the dog itself is not making a conscious decision to die. And appears that this is more instinctual than emotional and intentional, unlike in humans. We know that in humans, when they commit suicide, they know that once they die, they're ending all these social ties and they won't be able to see anyone anymore. However, animals don't have this same understanding. And so are they really engaging in suicidal behavior if they lack that intention? And it's not only seen in dogs, it's seen in other animals in wildlife, animals that are being held in captive, for example, elephants or bears or even lemmings.
Yes. So, as an example, with like elephants, there are instances where elephants will be captured, and in order to not feel the immediate pain of being captured and tortured, they will step on their own trunks in order to, not feel this immediate pain from the elephant capturers. Can you hold my dog, please? Okay. And now I'm going to give you some type of discreditation towards the myth of how lemmings kill themselves, because commonly people think that because they see videos of lemmings jumping off of cliffs that they're killing themselves, when this is actually extremely inaccurate, because many of times, well, all of the times, these lemmings are jumping off of these cliffs into the nearest bodies of water, and they're capable of swimming. So when they are jumping off of these cliffs into water, more lemmings are dying from, predators in the water and predators on land than lemmings that actually drown when they jump off of the cliffs. And a lot of times they're not jumping because, they want to end it all. They're jumping because they have depleted the food sources that they have in a certain area. So they move together, and they jump off the cliffs into the water, and they swim to another place, and they find more food and more land, and they live there for a really long time, and then they do it again. And also commonly people feel that, the fluctuation in lemming population is due to the fact that a lot of them jump off cliffs and die, which is inaccurate because they do not factor in different things such as predators, and how if it's cold outside, there's not as many predators outside, so the lemming population can grow. But in summertime, when the big predators come back out and they start eating the lemmings, then consequently the population will again decrease. So it is really a big myth about how lemmings kill themselves, because they don't. Because one, they can swim, so when they're jumping off the cliffs, they're not dying. And two, they really probably have intentions of going to get more food and surviving than actually jumping off the cliff and killing themselves, because like my partner said, they probably cannot make that conscious decision to end it all because they don't have any more food.
Yeah, agreeably, animals have become more complex, but there's still a little bit of doubt around that suicidal thought of animals trying to intentionally end their lives. So we hope that this helps you a little bit in understanding what animal suicide appears to be, and we hope that you have a nice day.
Thank you.
For more questions about any science ideas that you might have, contact Professors Abdul and Shania at gmail.com, or find them on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Snapchat. Thank you so much for watching.